Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Investigators are calling the fire suspicious. We're in Nicholasville with the latest.
And we've got plenty of rain moving across Kentucky out there right now, and it will be with us through the evening. We'll track it for you coming up.
Also a big battle tonight in Rupp Arena with two top 10 teams. We'll get you ready for Kentucky and Texas live from Wildcat Central with Rob Bromley and KSR's Matt Jones. Welcome to WKYT News at 4. I'm Jennifer Palumbo on this very wet Friday. It's also a lot warmer than yesterday with temperatures in the 50s and even a few 60s. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jim Caldwell, who has a first look at the forecast. And Jim, it's raining so hard we can hear it on the roof of the station.
We can hear it, and we can barely see across the road here. Normally you can see all the way out to the Hamburg Pavilion, but not today because of all that moisture that's out there. Let's check it out on our live sky cam. This has been a very common scene throughout the past few days. You've got very low visibility, rain hanging around, and again today, there you have it. Once again, the same old situation. Right now in Lexington, Jennifer mentioned it's a lot warmer. We're at 56 degrees here with a southerly wind. That's what you get when you get those nice southerly winds. The temperatures jump up quite a bit. They climbed all night last night, and they'll stay steady through the evening and even into the nighttime tonight. But tomorrow, they start to change. Visibility, by the way, down to around 1 mile out there for you. Here's what it looks like on Defender with, of course, the precipitation. You see those pockets of heavier rain around the radar site, which is where we are here on the east end of town. More rain through the downtown area as well. As far as the rest of Kentucky, all of us getting in on some of the action through the day. Bit of a break right now in southern and eastern Kentucky, but the next wave is just out to our west, and it's coming. We'll track it in here for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Jim. We'll see you then. Investigators now say they don't believe a fire that destroyed one of Nicholasville's oldest buildings was accidental. The fire broke out last night at the corner of First Street and Walnut. The building, which is more than 200 years old, is now split up into apartments. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel is in Jessamine County, where fire investigators spent the day at the burned-out building. She has our top story at 4.
Investigators spent hours back out at the scene this morning. So far, they haven't been able to figure out a cause for the fire, but say it does leave them suspicious. Police and firefighters have been here at the corner of First and Walnut all morning. That after spending about 7 hours on scene last night. A fire at this apartment building started around 6 o'clock, and by the time crews got here, they say the flames were out of control. A pregnant woman was found asleep inside one of the units. Crews were able to get her out to safety, but they weren't able to save much of the building. Investigators weren't able to go too far inside because of the amount of damage. So far, they haven't been able to determine a cause for the fire, but say they are suspicious.
We have eyewitnesses that have video, and we saw some imagery, and the fire was just really fast moving and fast developing, and due to fire behavior, that's in the middle of the day, it's kind of unlikely.
We're told several tenants here had recently been evicted from their apartments. In Nicholasville, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Investigators say the pregnant woman who was rescued from the building left the scene shortly after. Police say she has warrants out for her arrest. Kentucky blew out then 5th-ranked Kansas a few weeks ago. Tonight, the Cats have another top 10 matchup. The nation's top-ranked team faces 6th-ranked Texas in Rupp. WKYT's Rob Bromley is at Wildcat Central to get fans ready. Hi, Rob.
Hello, Jennifer, here at Wildcat Central, and I tell you, I floated down here tonight. That is the kind of night that it is in Lexington, but it's good to be here, and the fans just now slowly starting to arrive. Certainly looking forward to this matchup, top-ranked Kentucky against number 6 Texas. And the Longhorns have not lost, just like the Wildcats. They are 7-0. They've been without point guard Isaiah Taylor, but this is a team that should challenge the Cats, especially Kentucky's big men.
And they run. They fly up and down the court. You know, they've got good scores. They've got great length, and they run good stuff. It's going to be a hard game for us.
Play like we play, sort of, kind of block at the rim and clog up the lane and just be a disciplined team.
12 challenge, Cats against the Longhorns. Tip-off will be at 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. come down and see us here at Wildcat Central. You can get a collectible for tonight's game. They're available right next door here at Kentucky Branded. And I'll be back in the next hour at 5. Cal says the Cats need more games like the one they'll play against Texas here tonight. For now, Jennifer, that's it from here at Wildcat Central. Back to you.
Thanks, Rob. We'll see you at 5. And the Cats have a busy weekend. They're back on the court Sunday against EKU. Kentucky Sports Radio's Matt Jones joins me from Wildcat Central in about 15 minutes. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. It's a dangerous problem that school officials admit needs to be fixed. High levels of radon were detected at the Locust Trace Agri-Science Center. It's a technical high school on Leestown Road. The CDC says it is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the U.S. School leaders say the superintendent is making this issue a priority, and they hope to fix the problem over the winter break. Coming up on WKYT News at 5, we'll tell you how much this emergency fix will cost. There's a lot of excitement in Pulaski County. A pep rally planned ahead of tonight's state high school football championship game in Bowling Green. The Maroons will play Graves County for the state title. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. It's the second year in a row Pulaski County is playing for the ultimate trophy in Kentucky high school football. Last year, that quest ended in a loss. We'll have a preview of the game coming up on WKYT News at 5 o'clock. A Central Kentucky truck driver accused of reckless driving. Police say he nearly hit an officer in a police cruiser and some emergency workers. We captured the whole thing on camera. Winchester police believe that Quincy Collier got tired of waiting for crews to clear a wreck on Lexington Avenue early this morning, so he barreled right through the barrier. You'll hear the shocking details from police on WKYT News tonight at 6 o'clock. That's a look at some of the news in progress on this Friday. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Sam. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. New York City's police commissioner is promising more training for the city's officers. Protesters took to the streets and blocked traffic in several major cities during a second night of demonstrations for Eric Garner. In New York's Times Square, protesters scuffled with police who made arrests. Others marched across the Brooklyn Bridge. Similar scenes played out in Boston, Chicago, and Minneapolis. The anger follows Wednesday's grand jury decision not to indict a white New York City police officer in the apparent chokehold death of Eric Garner, an unarmed black man.
We're trying to improve the way our officers interact and approach people, and if they have to engage in force, making sure that they have better skills.
Obama has enlisted Philadelphia's police commissioner to recommend ways to rebuild public trust in police. The president announces his nominee for the next Secretary of Defense. Ashton Carter, former Deputy Defense Secretary from 2011 to 2013, has been tapped to replace Secretary Chuck Hagel. Mr. Obama says Carter knows the Pentagon inside and out, which means on day one, the president says he'll be ready to hit the ground running.
With a record of service that has spanned more than 30 years, as a public servant, as an advisor, as a scholar, Ash is rightly regarded as one of our nation's foremost national security leaders.
Hagel will step down as soon as the Senate confirms his replacement. Starbucks is brewing up a plan for the future. Why that plan is sending Starbucks stock soaring next in WKYT Money Watch. And people hoping for a pair of these LL Bean iconic boots may have to wait a while. Why LL Bean is struggling to meet demand, coming up on WKYT News at 4.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Starbucks stock is up after the company told investors what's brewing to try to double its revenue in the next 5 years. The coffee maker will serve wine and beer at thousands of locations. It's also going high tech. The mobile app will let customers place their coffee orders online and pay in advance, and then they can skip the line when they pick up their order. In some locations, Starbucks will also begin delivering. Starbucks says online shopping has cut into its store traffic. Apple allegedly deleted music from customers' iPods if it was downloaded from rival services. According to the Wall Street Journal, lawyers representing iPod users are arguing that in court. Their lawsuit wants Apple to pay $350 million in damages. Apple says the actions were legitimate security measures used to prevent piracy. Amazon is moving into private labels with its own line of diapers and baby wipes. They're called Amazon Elements. They're inexpensive and targeted at parents who are worried about the environment. Products are only available to members of Amazon's $99 a year Prime subscription service. If LL Bean's signature boots are on your holiday wish list, you may need to wait until next year. The company based in Maine reports there are currently 60,000 back orders for its boots, some styles for several months. The company says it's hiring 100 workers, buying new equipment, and will be working 24/7 this weekend to try to catch up with the demand.
I'm Deanne Stevens out and about at the UK Singletary Center where they are preparing for a holiday collage. We'll tell you more about it when we return here on WKYT.
And we are all preparing for more rounds of rain to sweep through the area. We've got plenty of it coming. I'll have the latest. We'll track it right in here coming up in just a few minutes.
Guys from the UK Singletary Center at the concert hall where this weekend is going to be packed. Beautiful music, gorgeous choirs that are going to be all performing for you as a part of the collage. We have Dee and Mary Catherine who are practicing for this weekend. Jeff Johnson with us, and you are ahead of all the choirs here, and I am so excited about this because I hear it is just spectacular.
Deanne, this is one of the biggest things that we do all year long in the School of Music. We're going to have over 500 performers on stage this week.
Wow, and it's not just performers from the University of Kentucky, I understand.
No, we have some community members. We have the Lexington Singers, the Lexington Singers Children's Choir, the Luring Handbell Ensemble, Lafayette High School Madrigal Singers.
Wow, what is the event all about? Is it just singing? Is it music? Is it a chance for people to get into the mood for the holidays?
It's exactly right. Most of our patrons who come to the concerts tell us that this kicks off their holiday season. It's a mixture of vocal music and instrumental and all types of instruments.
Okay, what are we watching now?
This is a piece called Believe from the Polar Express. Mary Catherine sings the solo that starts the piece.
These are the two featured soloists for the event, right?
They are, and then Dee takes over, and Michael Renton at the piano, and we're going to have a huge background of singers behind them.
Okay, how do folks get tickets?
Well, tickets can be had at the Singletary Center box office, 257-4929.
Okay, and show times are 2 o'clock and 7:30, not just on Saturday, but Sunday there are performances as well. Tickets are still available, but Jeff says you better get them now. The event kicking off tomorrow, the Holiday Collage, coming up at 4:50. We're going to let them do their very own performance. A special treat for you guys at home. I'm Deanne Stevens out and about on campus at UK. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Deanne. Music is one of my favorite parts of the holiday season. I love the holiday songs.
And you know, we didn't hear them full blown yet, but
Yes.
they were sounding great in the
Yeah.
background. I look forward to it later.
Stay tuned for that. Well, the Cats have their biggest home test of the season tonight so far. 6th-ranked Texas in Rupp. The Longhorns hope to do something they've never done before. And UK's football season comes to an end. Next on WKYT News at 4, KSR's Matt Jones joins me live as we take a look back and talk about the search for the next offensive coordinator. In this countdown to game time, a top 10 matchup in Rupp, and UK's football season comes to an end. Top-ranked Kentucky takes on 6th-ranked Texas tonight in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. The Cats and Longhorns are both undefeated with 7 wins each. Kentucky Sports Radio's Matt Jones joins me live from Wildcat Central. And Matt, Texas is looking for its first ever win over the AP's top-ranked team. Do you think there's any chance they get it tonight?
Well, I think there's a chance they get it, but I don't think it's a very high chance. Texas is without their point guard who got hurt, and the problem they have is while they have great big guys, they don't have a ton of perimeter scoring. Now, with that said, they're going to provide a huge challenge for Kentucky, primarily because they have the best big men Kentucky's going to play all year. They got some guys that are tall, some guys that are kind of wide. They have a 300-pound kid, Fairley, that can move just about as good as Ridley, who can move just about as good as any big man you'll see in the country. So I think they're going to give Kentucky a challenge, but in the end, if Kentucky's guards play like they should, if the Harrison twins have a big game against a school from their former home state, I think you're going to see them get the victory. But Texas is a lot better, I think, Jennifer, than people realize.
All right, it's a 7 o'clock tip tonight in Rupp Arena on ESPN. Let's switch gears now to football. The football season is over, ending with that heartbreaking 44-40 loss at Louisville and a record of 5-7. So, Matt, what grade would you give UK for this football season?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I would say I give them a B in large part because while they didn't get to 6 wins and get a bowl, they did get better. I mean, anybody who doesn't think the football team was better wasn't watching, especially the season before. And they also got a signature win against South Carolina. Now, what I do think has to happen is what Mark Stoops said after the season. They've got to find a way to get bigger, to get faster, and to develop. Because in the end, in those last 6 games, you started to see the difference in athleticism right now with the program. But I will say this, I think they're going to be a lot better next year. And Jennifer, I think they make a bowl game after 4 years not making it next season. But I'll say a B, leaning towards a B+ if they had just finished a little stronger and not gotten blown out against Tennessee.
All right, Matt. And now, of course, Mark Stoops is searching for a new offensive coordinator after Neil Brown left to take the head job at Troy University, where he worked as an assistant. What names are you hearing that you are excited about?
Well, the big thing I'm hearing is this coordinator at East Carolina, Lincoln Riley, is probably the top choice. You might have seen him play last night. The team can put up a lot of points, and he kind of runs the air raid with maybe a little bit more throwing than what we've seen. I think he's probably the guy. If not for him, I think then Murray State head coach Chris Hatcher is another name that they're talking about. And there may be some guys we haven't heard, but I think right now Mark Stoops is zoned in on Lincoln Riley. If he can get him, I think he'll be very happy. He's a hot name in coaching, and I think it'd be a great hire.
All right, well, it's Kentucky and Texas tonight at Rupp. Next week you'll be back. We'll be talking about Kentucky and North Carolina, Matt. It's going to be a big week ahead.
Can't wait. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Matt. And it's going to be a wet walk to Rupp Arena tonight for UK fans. Here's Jim with what fans can expect. Jim?
Yeah, we'll track those fans into Rupp Arena tonight. You can see the round of rain trying to get fired up again because we will take a little bit of a break. The rain will continue to increase. You're looking at 6 o'clock there. Showers still lingering around the area. This is our high-resolution model data. And by the time the game happens at 7 o'clock and after and during, the showers will continue to fill in. That's that batch that we're tracking just out to our west. So out to our west. So wet heading into Rupp, and that's not necessarily some of the showers, actually just rain falling from the sky. It's just wet outside. But the heavier potential might be when the folks are starting to head out and head wherever they're going, maybe for their Friday night plans or back to the house. That's when we could see a little more action on defenders. So it gets a little more rain trying to fill into the area. That's what we've got for you here at 4 o'clock. We've got so much more coming up on WKYT News at 4:30.